it's me Geeky and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be bringing you my first manga haul for 2021. So I'm super excited about it. It's the first month of the year and I wasn't planning on picking up too much, but as you guys know from my even my previous video or the one prior to that, you guys know that I wasn't well at the beginning of January, so to keep my mind sane and to keep me keep ticking through the quarantine period, I brought manga and read manga. So yeah, most of which I popped into my wrap-ups video, but I have since got some more. I've got about 20-ish volumes, so it's not as big as my usual hauls, but it's a pretty decent stack. You guys know I've been wanting to cut down a little bit. We've got some continuations of series, a couple of new series. Now I know I kind of put it as one of my goals or resolutions for this channel or myself for this year would be to cut down on the series that I put into my collection, like the newer ones, if that makes sense. But yeah, there was a couple of deals that I just kind of couldn't pass up. So yeah, and if you guys haven't noticed, I'm wearing a Sailor Moon sweatshirt from Bershka. It is super comfy and super duper oversized. My boyfriend got it for me for Christmas and he got me my usual size for jumpers, and it was literally a dress. It like came down to my knees. It was huge, so we went a size down and it's still really big, so but it's super comfy, super warm, and I love it to pieces, and it's Sailor Moon, so what more could I go on, right? But yes, without further ado, let's get into the haul, shall we? So the first series I picked up this month is the Apothecary Diaries. This was an absolutely fantastic read. I really enjoyed this first volume. I've got it in my manga wrap-ups, which was my previous video, so if you want to hear a little bit more about this series, pop onto that video. But it's kind of historical. I think it's a Chinese historical kind of mystery, possible romance kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. Mamao, which is this girl here, she's a really sweet character. She looks like she's not going to be a pushover for a female lead either, so you guys know how I feel about strong female characters. And the guy on the back, he looks like to be the main possible love interest if this does turn into a romance, which I kind of hope that it does. But the art is absolutely gorgeous. Mamao is a young lady who is kidnapped and taken to the capital and is forced to work in the palace. Then these very strange, bizarre things are going on in the palace. Babies are dying, the emperor's babies are dying, and they're not quite sure why, and people are getting sick. And Mamao figures out what is going on and sends letters to two particular women. One lady believes the letter and does what she says and saves her child. The other one unfortunately doesn't, and her child dies. And that kind of enables her to get into the inner court for this particular series. I believe this is kind of a take on a Chinese royal inner court type series. I know that this is based on a light novel, I believe, and I'm not sure if the light novels are out, but this is published by Square Enix. But it was a good solid first volume and I'm glad I picked it up. I pre-ordered volume 2, so yeah, volume 1 of the Apothecary Diaries. So next up is a Yen Press title, which actually doesn't feature too much in my collection at all, being Yen Press. I think they're quite expensive, so I very rarely pick up any of their series. I know there are quite a few that I really want to collect, but Yen Press is quite expensive, so I tend to stay away from them. But I picked up the first volume of Mint Chocolate. I have read this. This was such a cute first volume. This art style is sweet, but it's not my favourite. I feel like the art style will probably grow on me, but the art style is really cute. It follows these two high schoolers here. Their family ends up living together and they become step siblings, and they've kind of liked each other before they become step siblings, and then they're thrown into the house, like a household situation where they have to live together. I presume this is going to be their kind of love story potentially, because the guy on the front here, he very much knew about them moving in and becoming a family before this girl did here. And yeah, it was a really cute series. It left, first volume, sorry, it left off on a cliffhanger for me, so I can't wait to find out what happens next. Also, it kind of gives me vibes of Marmalade Boy. If you have ever heard of Marmalade Boy, I believe it was a series that was done in the 90s. I have got it here. Let me grab a volume. Yes, so it kind of reminds me of this series here. I presume that Mint Chocolate is going to kind of be a modern take on Marmalade Boy, but I'm not sure because I've only read volume 1. But it was definitely a good first volume. I'm pleased I picked it up because I saw a lot of people talking about it on Instagram. So yeah, I'm definitely pleased I picked it up. So that's definitely a good recommendation, or a shoujo recommendation. Now, next up is a series that if you are a fan of Magi, then you probably would have picked this series up, and that is Orient by the same author by Magi, which is Shinobu Otaka. I think that's what her name is, or his name is, sorry, I'm not quite sure the gender of the mangaka, but this was an interesting read. I have read this one as well. The art for a start is gorgeous. Can we just have a moment to take a look at this cover here? But I'm not quite sure how I felt about this first volume. It's definitely got that Magi vibe, but without the magic. We are demon slaying. The people in this world worship what they revere as gods, but are actually demons. And this guy here on the front wants to become a samurai because they go around slaying all the demons. It was definitely an interesting volume, first volume. The art's stunning. If you guys know Magi, then you know that this is going to be it's going to be very well drawn. If I just show you here, this is the art. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what I think about this. I'm kind of mixed. Volume 1 was okay, but nothing really to shout home about. I'm gonna give it another volume and see how I feel, but the covers are gorgeous. I'm just really bummed out about this spine, guys. Like, Kodansha could have done a better job with the spine. It's a bit boring, right? Maybe we're just spoilt with Viz when they done Muggy, but I don't know. Next up is a stack of Viz Media stuff, and first up is volume 6 of Strobe Edge. And I plan to do an unboxing for this because this was sent to me by Margaret from Margaret's Manga, and she was super duper kind to send this over to me because it was the only volume that I needed in my collection, and she found it for me, and I was so grateful to her. And not only did she send me these, she sent me these absolutely gorgeous bookmarks with the characters on from the different series, and oh my god, they are so pretty. I literally can't wait to read some more manga and use them. They are gorgeous, so thank you so much, Margaret. But this volume is super hard to find, super out of print, so if you do find this volume, definitely pick it up if you're interested in Ayosaki Saka. Strobe Edge has been an absolutely fantastic read. I finished the series when I was sick and really enjoyed it. It's actually in my manga wrap up, so if you wanted to hear me talk about that series a little bit more, pop on to that video as well. But yeah, it was a fantastic series. What else can I say? You guys know I love Ayosaki Saka, and this is probably my favourite one that I've read of hers so far. So next up is Arata the Legend by Yu Watase, volume 24. Now this takes me up to date with what has been released in English, and I believe what has been released in Japan, because I think Yu Watase popped this on hiatus a little while ago and nothing has come out from this series since. So I'm super excited to finish what I've got of this. I believe I'm on volume 14, but I've really enjoyed this. If you are a fan of Yu Watase, then definitely check this out. And if you're a shoujo fan but you're not entirely sure whether or not you will be interested in checking out a shonen, again, give this a go. I know it's 24 volumes long and I know it's on hiatus, but it's definitely worth it if you want to dip your toes into sort of like the shonen genre. It's got the sort of whimsical art of a shoujo, but with themes of more of a fantasy shonen. It's just been a really good read for me so far, and I hope I continue to enjoy this series. The next up is a series that I've heard a lot of people talk about, particularly Mama Loves Manga. She really enjoys this series, and that is Natsume Book of Friends. I found a really good deal on eBay and picked up volume 1 and volume 2. These covers are absolutely gorgeous, and I am just over halfway through volume 1. It's a really chilled, laid-back yokai series. I don't really know what I was expecting when I went into this first volume, but all I can say is that I really enjoyed it. The art is super pretty, like super sketchy and just kind of chill, if that makes sense. Like the whole vibe of this series just leaves me sort of like fuzzy and warm, if that makes sense, even though it's about yokai, and sort of some panels can be or some yokai can be a little bit more freaky looking than others. I believe this follows Natsume, which is this gentleman on the front here, this high schooler, and he's left a book of yokai names. His grandma used to bully the yokai that names are in the book, and he has decided that he wants to release the yokai from the book's spell, because anybody that has the book can control the yokai that's name is in that book, if that makes sense. So it's his journey to try and release the names from the book, and he also releases this little chubby cat, and the chubby cat is super cute. Like, it's super cute. But yeah, I've enjoyed what I've read so far of volume 1. I feel like this is going to be one that after reading the first 2 volumes I'm going to want to continue, and I believe there are 24 volumes out at the moment, with a 25th volume coming out soon, so I'm quite far behind in this. But I think I'm going to be quite chill in collecting this, because it's not really a fast-paced manga. At least that's what I feel like just from reading volume 1. But if you have read this and you know differently, do let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm curious to see what you guys think of this series, if you'd have been interested in picking it up. Like, just in general, it's not really one that's talked about much on MangaTube or on Instagram, so I would love to hear your guys' thoughts if you've checked it out. The next series is a good chunk, or the next volume, sorry, are a good chunk of a series that I read while I was sick as well, and that is Yona of the Dawn, volumes 13 through 18. This series just continues to get better. Like, if you guys wanted to hear my thoughts on this series as well, it is in my previous wrap-ups video, but this series is absolutely stunning. The art is absolutely gorgeous on the front and on the back covers. The story is really engaging. The characters and the character dynamic between the 4 dragons is fantastic. I love how they interact with Yona. Definitely my favourite character is probably Hark. Like, I'm sorry guys, but if Yona does not end up with Hark, I will be super upset. Like, super upset. He is just so good for her. If she ends up with Suwon, oh my god, I think I'll probably end up burning the series, I'm not gonna lie, unless he has a complete U-turn. But what he done to Yona at the beginning of the series is just unacceptable, and if she does end up with him, I will not be happy at all. But yeah, this is such a great shoujo fantasy, and a fantastic series for anybody that is a shonen reader and wants to, again, dip their toes in the shoujo genre. This is fantastic. I feel that it's got everything. It's got good plot, good story, a good main female lead, a bit of action. Like, it's just a good all-rounder for a shoujo, in my opinion. In sort of like the latter volumes that I'm in so far, so volume 18, we're starting to learn a little bit more about the yellow dragon, which is this one here. It's just been a fantastic journey so far. I just wish that we would get a season 2 for the anime. The anime finishes off at volume 7, I think. So from 7 to 18 there's a lot of material that has not been animated, and it's just feels like a crime that they haven't picked up this for a season 2. So hopefully sometime in the future they will. But yeah, I definitely need to get my backside caught up on this because this is absolutely phenomenal. And for some reason at the moment, volume 1 is extremely hard to find. I know Tiffany over at Himika had a lot of trouble finding volume 1, so hopefully it's just sort of like a supply problem and they haven't like decided to let it go out of print, because if they have, that it's just one of the most ridiculous things ever. But this is such a fantastic series. Give it a check out if you haven't already. So next up is a few Kodansha titles, the first being Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight volume 2. I have read this, I really enjoyed it. I just haven't picked up any more volumes because my budget, I kind of blew my budget for manga because I was ill. But this has been such an enjoyable read. It follows this guy here on the front and a teenage girl called Hinana, I think that's her name, and he is a kind of an actor, kind of like an idol kind of a guy. He's in his early 20s, meets her in her high school as they're shooting, I think it was a commercial if I remember correctly, and he's staring out across the school grounds and he's kind of looking at teenage girls' bums, which sounds really weird. I know that does sound really weird but it's been a really interesting and fun read so far. We've found out a little bit about this character on the front. He used to be part of a band and something happened in the band that caused him to leave, and we haven't really delved too much into that bit yet. It kind of left on a cliffhanger in volume 2 for that, but I'm definitely interested to see where this series goes. Again, this is a age gap romance, so if you aren't interested in that, do stay away, because this guy is in his early 20s and the female character is in high school. So if that is not for you, I will warn you now, probably stay away. And he also has a fetish for bums, so if you don't like that either, stay away. I know a lot of people are put off by it. I don't mind it. I find it really amusing. It does make me giggle. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in volume 3. As I say, it left on a cliffhanger. I want to show you guys some art, but we are in volume 2, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with what I show you. But the art is super pretty. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Aosaki Saka a little bit, because the male character is absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, it's been a fun read, very interesting, and I can't wait to get the next couple of volumes. For the next series I picked up is Living Room Matsunaga-san volumes 3, 4 and 5. This series continues to warm the cockles of my heart. This is again another age gap romance. I'm not really too bothered by the age gap romance as long as nothing inappropriate happens. So far this has been super duper wholesome and there's no power play from Matsunaga-san. It's just very natural, very sort of like easygoing when it comes to romance. It's been a super fun read so far and I've really enjoyed it. Like, I pre-ordered volume 6 and it was supposed to arrive within the last couple of weeks, and for some unknown reason Amazon just does not want to ship it to me. I don't know if it's because the release date for the UK has been moved back. I honestly don't know, but this series just warms the cockles of my heart. I literally love Matsunaga-san. I mean, look at him, he's so beautiful, right guys? But it's been such a I keep saying it's been such a great read, but it has the dynamics with the adult characters in Miko's boarding house has been fantastic. I love the relationship and the bonds that they're starting to form in the boarding house. Volume 5 leaves off on a cliffhanger because it's a school festival type arc or couple of chapters or whatever you want to call it. Basically, Miko is at her school festival. She asks Matsunaga-san to come along. He's thinking it's a little bit weird because he's in his 20s and why is he hanging out at a high school kids school festival, but he turns up and he asks if they could go for a little walk around the festival, and an eagle-eyed teacher in the background is aware of what's going on, so it kind of leaves on that sort of cliffhanger. So yeah, it's been a great read so far, but if you want to know my more sort of like in-depth thoughts, pop over to my manga wrap-ups, because this is another one that I read in that one as well. So going back to Viz Media, I am an absolute fan of this next mangaka. I've got quite a few of her series, sort of, I don't know if you can see in the background there and there, and that is the first 2 volumes of Maison Ikkoku, I think it's the collector's editions or the perfect editions, I'm not quite sure what they call it, but these are absolutely gorgeous editions. The covers don't really feel like paper, they feel like linen fabric, if that makes sense, but like a really stiff linen fabric. It's got gorgeous French flaps and absolutely stunning coloured pages on the inside that literally look like it's just been coloured in with colouring pencils. It's just got really nice texture to it. This is such an interesting and funny romance. I think this was one of Rumiko Takahashi's first series. I think it was very close to her doing the Yurusei Yatsura. I know Yurusei Yatsura, I believe, was one of her first series, and it followed closely by this. I will say this though, it has a lot of comedy in it, and the comedy feels a little bit dated, so going for volume 1, it probably could offend some people or not sit well with some people with certain sort of like jokes or themes that happen in here, but I find it quite funny. The boarding house situation is hilarious. There's a guy that lives next door to, I think his name is Yusaku Godai, who lives next to him, and he keeps whacking holes in his wall, just randomly walking through. It's just a really funny read. Godai is basically a failure of a college student. He can't get into college. He's been trying for years, living in this boarding house, and all of his neighbours in the boarding house wind him up every single time. Then our new landlady, and I can't remember her name, our new landlady moves in, and he kind of gets a little bit of a crush on her, and then kind of random hilarious shenanigans kind of ensue. But it's been a very interesting read. I read volume 1 and did enjoy it, but it's one of those ones where you can definitely put it down and pick it up later, because it's not got a whole lot of plot to it as of yet. But I'm only not even a chapter away through volume 2, but I've enjoyed it. It's a good laugh, so I would definitely recommend it, especially if you are a fan of Rumiko Takahashi. It's one of her older works, and I love the fact that Viz Media is giving Rumiko Takahashi's older stuff some love with these gorgeous collector's editions. Talking about Rumiko Takahashi, I'm still waiting for my Mermaid Saga to be shipped from Amazon. Oh my god, all I want to do is read Mermaid Saga. I haven't read it yet. It will be the first time experiencing it, and I'm just super excited to do so. And the fact that Amazon hasn't dispatched it yet is just really annoying. It was supposed to be here. When was it supposed to be? I think it was supposed to be here in December, and they just haven't, for some unknown reason, shipped it at all. They just said that they can't get hold of it. Now, I know Book Depository has got it in stock, but I got it for a better price on Amazon. That's why I'm not cancelling the order. But yeah, I'll show you a bit of the art. The art is quite an older style, so if you're not into that style of art, then it's probably not going to be for you, because as I say, it is an older style. But it was a gorgeous read. It was funny, it was amusing, and I can't wait to see what happens between the two characters. Last but not least, I have volume 6 of Demon from Afar by Kaori Yuki. This is the final volume, published by Yen Press. I still need to get volume 4 before I have this complete, but I saw this going super cheap on World of Books, I think it was, so I thought I'd better pick this up before this starts to go out of print, because Alice in Murderland by Kaori Yuki, one of the volumes is ridiculously out of print and stupidly expensive, and I really don't want that to happen to this. I've only read the first 2 volumes, but I don't know why I'm flicking through this volume. I've only read the first 2 volumes, but I enjoyed it. You guys know that I love Karaoke. You know that one of my favourite series is Angel Sanctuary because of the dark grittiness to the series. So yeah, when I saw this come out ages ago, I picked up the first couple of volumes but just never finished the series. So I'm kind of slowly picking it up cheap whenever I can find it. But yeah, I haven't really got a lot to say about this other than the fact it's a Karaoke. It's going to be a dark, gritty, gothic type tale and I'm super ready for it. But yeah, that's volume 6 of Karaoke, of Demon from Afar by Karaoke. In fact, I'll show you some art from the first volume so we're not giving you too many spoilers. The art is absolutely beautiful as always. That's a bit dark, creepy, but it's gorgeous. So yeah guys, that was my haul video for January 2021. It wasn't a big haul, but it is what it is. I'm trying to rein in on my spending a little bit. However, February is my birthday month, so I might have to break the rules for that month. But yeah guys, I hope you guys are happy and healthy and staying safe and looking after yourself. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you wanted to support the channel, I've got affiliate links down in the description box down below if you wanted to use those at no expense to yourself, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah guys, until next time, see ya, bye bye.